From Prestwick, formed in 1976, primarily as an amateur team, and just over the last sort of 10 years probably we started our own youth section, a thriving girls section, and we've grown into the community over the last sort of probably that 10-year period, where we've moved away from just being an adult team to actually being involved in schools, being involved with the local councils, being involved in trying to use sport and football to make a difference.
Primarily an amateur team at first, so that's where I got involved, like through playing. I used to watch them when we used to play at the Oval. It's expanded from what was an amateur team into a more a community club. What they were doing was doing like meals to people. Obviously, the meal people get free school meals. But obviously when they weren't at school, the lockdown was on. They were getting them delivered to their houses. So what we did was, at first it was this amateur team help with that, and we went along to the Prestwick Academy, which was a sort of like delivery hub, and we supported like the council workers to basically just pack the vans, and then they would then get delivered out to people that needed the free school meals. It was quite good for some of these younger people, like maybe 15, 16-year-old, that got them a bit of the sense of obviously something to do, like it did with the amateur team, but also get them sort of a wee bit of discipline about going along there, like when they were meant to be at school, and I think that they found that beneficial. We'd sort of set a target of like going from first we were just going to go from like Glenburn Miners Club to Wembley, but then because we like at first it was just going to be the amateur team, but then like some of the youth teams bought into it, and some of the coaches as well, so we managed to actually reset the target, and we came all the way back. So
any time that anything's been suggested, everyone's bought into it. There's been no pushback. There's been nobody, being disruptive. Everyone's pulled in the right direction. As we said, things that have started off as a sort of amateur activity end up being supported by the youth and becoming involved from top to bottom in the club. That's probably that, building that or strengthening that club belonging and club identity is probably the thing that personally I'm most proud of, is the fact that everyone has pulled together at a time when it's easy for people to become insular and look after themselves.
It was more about like for the amateur team was like supporting each other. Obviously, if some of them have got like sort of problems like mentally or like mental health, are struggling a bit, it was to support them with that. Obviously with the Usher Sands, that was to support one of our players, but it was more about like this the community spirit that it brought, like from even players, like committee, even just some folk that just come and watch us were getting involved and doing different things like helping out and things like that.
We want to get the club back playing again. We've got our amateurs in the West of Scotland semi-final. Great chance of making a major final for the first time in our history, following on from our first major regional trophy the season before. Ultimately, we want to be, as Ian said earlier on, looking at our own facility. So to be able to have our own community facility that is not just for our use, but can be used by local primary schools during the day for additional sports educational, introduce likes of disability football, walking football. We have all these aims that we and goals we want to reach.
Just the aim is to try and get back playing amateur football at first, because obviously we get sort of left behind a bit with all the other football. Understandably, like there's more important things in football, but just try and get back playing football first and foremost, and get the boys back involved, because it's a big miss for folk that are involved, like not just myself, but for players, like if they've not got something to look forward to at the end of the week. Right.